I was consuming 1,600 in the first picture, and then in this one, I was consuming over 4,000. So clearly, the calories in steak and the calories in chicken still do matter, and you still need to count them. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I've got some more social media stupidity for you guys. But before I start, you guys know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, ding ding ding. And if you don't want to watch the entire video, I will be including timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to the section that you want. Now on to the topic at hand. Last week after I had made my latest Why Are People So Stupid video, I was on Facebook, and about 1 or 2 hours after I had uploaded that video, I noticed another post that would be perfect for today. This post, it came from a personal trainer on my Facebook page, and what she said was, not all calories are created equal. A gram of carbohydrate contains 4 calories, a gram of protein contains 4 calories, a gram of fat contains 9 calories. Okay, right off the bat, one big problem with this post is that you are conflating calories with macronutrients. If you're going to say not all calories are created equal, then what you have to do is compare 1 calorie of protein to 1 calorie of carbohydrate to 1 calorie of fat. You can't say not all calories are created equally and then list the different macronutrients and the calorie content in each of those macronutrients, because that is not the point of your post. The point of your post is that not all calories are created equally. The other thing that I would like to touch on is that, yes, while all calories are created equally, the sources of all calories are not created equally. And what I mean by that is that 1 calorie is going to be equal to 1 calorie in terms of its unit of heat measurement. However, the effect that it's going to have on you in terms of the hormonal effect and also the thermic effect is going to be completely different. I made a video on the thermic effect of food a few weeks ago, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but basically each of the different macronutrients is going to have a different thermic effect. When it comes to protein, roughly 20 to 30% of the calories that you consume is going to be burned off during the digestive process. That's going to be things like mastication and all the chemical processes that are involved in breaking down that protein once it is inside of your body. When it comes to carbohydrate, roughly 10 to 15% is going to be burned off during the thermic effect of food. So that is going to be burned off during mastication and the digestive process. And when it comes to fat, up to 3% of the food will be burned through the digestive process, which means if you are consuming 100 calories of protein, then roughly 70 to 80 calories will be used for usable energy. The other 20 to 30 calories is going to be burned off during the digestive process. When it comes to carbohydrate, you are going to be able to get anywhere from 85 to 90 calories of usable energy from 100 calories of carbohydrate. The other 10 to 15 calories will be burned off during the digestive process. And when it comes to fat, almost all of it is going to be usable energy. You roughly 3 calories, if you're consuming 100 calories of fat, is going to be burned off during the digestive process. The other 97 calories will be usable energy for you. So I ended up replying to her comment with, I understand what you're trying to say, but you're conflating macronutrients with calories. The thermic effect of the different macronutrients would have been a better example, which is the example that I just stated for you earlier. To which she replied, with all due respect, this isn't aimed at male PTs who do not have weight/body composition issues and don't need help with nutrition. This is aimed at busy-driven women, majority of my followers, mixed in with some men connected because we are in the same industry. So hi and happy to be connected. Okay, regardless of who it is aimed for, it is factually incorrect, the statement that you said. Your post said not all calories are created equally, which they are. 1 calorie is equal to 1 calorie. A calorie just is what it is. It's a unit of heat measurement. So you are incorrect in what you said. And regardless of the fact that your post is not intended to be aimed at male PTs who don't have body issues, that doesn't change the fact that your post is completely inaccurate. Anyway, let's go back on. Many of the women who follow me count calories. I have hundreds of case studies from clients who used to count calories. They don't realize that they don't need to count the calories from steak or chicken. If you really do think that you don't need to count calories from steak and you don't need to count calories from chicken because you could just eat as much steak and chicken as you want and nothing's going to happen to you in terms of weight gain or health issues, I have something to show you right over here. Right up over here, this is me when I was following the carnivore diet. This is me at 152 pounds. You want to see something else? This is also me on the carnivore diet. This is me at 174 pounds. Both of those pictures, I was on the carnivore diet. Both of those pictures, I was eating a lot of steak and chicken. Now, if you don't have to count calories from steak, and if you don't have to count calories from chicken, then my weight should not have fluctuated between the two. In the first picture right over here at 152 pounds, I was consuming roughly 1,600 to 2,300 calories per day. Whereas in this picture right over here at 174 pounds, I was consuming over 4,000 1,000 calories per day. So if you don't have to count calories from steak and you don't have to count calories from chicken, then my body should not have changed whatsoever between these two different pictures. However, I was consuming 1,600 in the first picture, and then in this one, I was consuming over 4,000. So clearly, the calories in steak and the calories in chicken still do matter, and you still need to count them. You can't just not count them because it's coming from steak or chicken. At the end of the day, the calories that you consume matter, and if you want to be able to lose weight, you need to be in a caloric deficit. So if you are in a caloric surplus, it doesn't matter if those calories are coming from steak, chicken, or sugar, you are going to gain weight. You can't just not count those calories. But let's move on. I keep my advice simple, and that's why I'm so goddamn good at helping clear up the misconceptions. Okay, you're not clearing up any misconceptions. You are just creating further misconceptions by putting this inaccurate post out into the world without elaborating on your post. If you had elaborated on it a little bit more, then okay, sure. When you are with your clients and you say not all calories are created equally, you can have a conversation with them. You could go back and forth. You can explain your point further. The problem I have with this post is when you put it out there and you don't elaborate on that, there are going to be some people that just read that and they don't ask you any follow-up questions, and then they're going to have this false impression that all calories are created equally, when the truth is all calories are created equally. However, not all sources of calories are created equally. But anyway, let's move on. Helping clear up the misconceptions, and so good at helping women become leaner, healthier, and happier. Again, this has absolutely nothing to do with my critique of your post. The fact that you've helped women lose weight and get leaner is great, but it doesn't change the fact that you posted something that is factually inaccurate. And the fact that you are trying to show your results as proof of this has absolutely nothing to do with your post. If you are going to defend your post, then defend your post, but don't use examples of previous clients to defend yourself, because at the end of the day, the results that you get from your clients has nothing to do with the fact that the post that you posted was inaccurate. Let's move on. It's not something I've just started doing, but have been doing for 18 years, and I'm very well educated and qualified. Again, this has absolutely nothing to do with your initial post. And the fact that you are very educated is irrelevant, because you could be the most educated person on the planet. It does not mean that you are incapable of being incorrect. And when you made that post that not all calories are created equally, and then gave the macronutrient content of each, that was factually incorrect in terms of the way you were phrasing it. So your education level has nothing to do with your post. If you're going to defend your post, but don't just talk up your education level. Anyway, so let's move on. This post is what it is. For women who are counting calories, not macros, not anything else. Women who are confused, one of the reasons why they're confused is that you are confusing them by spreading this misinformation. Back to the post. And too scared to eat nuts or avocados because they're so high in calories. I agree with this. A lot of people demonize fat and they're afraid to eat really high calorie dense foods, and they shouldn't be. As long as you're in a caloric deficit, it doesn't matter if your calories are coming from protein, carbohydrates, or fat. Ideally, you should be consuming a diet that makes you feel your best, and you shouldn't be worried about calories. If it is your main objective to lose weight, then at the end of the day, calories in versus calories out does matter, because if you're in a caloric deficit, you're going to lose weight. If you're in a caloric surplus, you're going to gain weight. And if the amount of energy that you take in is equal to that of your total daily energy expenditure, then your weight is going to stay the exact same. But you shouldn't be afraid to eat fats just because they are high in calories. And I agree with that. Generally, I know this person, I know the way she thinks, and I agree with a lot of what she says, but the way that she's putting the information out there is misleading, and that is the biggest problem that I have. But anyway, let's move back on. This is why my post needs to be kept simple, for my target audience to be able to understand and make better informed choices for themselves. How exactly are they going to make better informed choices? You're not giving them choices that they can choose between. All you're doing is stating something that is factually inaccurate. That is not giving them a choice. That is just causing further confusion, and it could be detrimental to someone's progress if they don't ask you any follow-up questions to get a little bit more clarification. Anyway, let's move on. Thanks again for your comment. You're very welcome. Somebody else had made the exact same thing. They said 1 calorie is still 1 calorie, to which she replied, yes. Calories just means energy though. Technically, calorie is a unit of heat measurement. When we refer to calories, where there are calories and then kilocalories, 1,000 kilocalories is equal to 1 big C calorie. And when it comes to energy, the actual unit of energy measurement is going to be the joule. And 1 kilocalorie is going to be equal to 4.184 joules of potential energy. So I'm not really going to bust her balls too much on this one, because calorie is technically a unit of heat measurement, but a calorie is also the energy value that we do assign to food. So I'm not really going to go too much onto that, but really it's the joule that is the unit of energy measurement. Anyway, going on. and they don't all have the same effect on your body. 100% agree. The different calories from the different foods are going to have different effects on you hormonally. So if you are consuming sugar versus steak, that's going to have a completely different effect on your body. However, it doesn't change the fact that 1 calorie from steak versus 1 calorie from sugar is both equal to 1 calorie. They are created equally. It'll have a different effect on your body, but in terms of what they do the exact same thing. Let's move on. 100 calories from donut cannot be counted the same as 100 calories from fish. I 100% agree with that. Yes, if you are consuming 100 calories from something like fish, there's much more nutrients in the fish, and also you are going to burn off more of the calories because, again, of the thermic effect of food. You're going to be burning off anywhere from 20 to 30% of the calories in that fish, whereas with the sugar, you're going to be burning off the donut, you're going to be burning off about 10 to 15. So you shouldn't count them equally. They're going to have different effects on your body, but 1 calorie from the donut versus 1 calorie from the fish is still just 1 calorie. It is what it is. It's a unit of heat measurement. The commenter ended up responding to that reply with, I know, your first line should read, not all macros are created equal in terms of energy value. Yes, that would have been a much better way for her to phrase her original post. To which she replied, thanks, I obviously get where you're coming from, but I'm good with the words in my post, thanks. Okay, you're good with being factually inaccurate with your posts? I thought your whole point as a personal trainer was to educate people. If you want to educate people, then you should be very picky with the words that you use in your post. You don't want to misinform people because it could have a detrimental effect on their health, on their performance, and on their improvement if they are taking you literally at your word without asking follow-up questions. So the words that you choose, you should choose them very carefully if it is your main objective to help people. Anyway, moving on. I have a whole piece written all on macros. This is Facebook social media, and it depends who your readers are and the language they relate to. My posts are a mixture of marketing and adding value. There it is. This whole post is really all about marketing, because when you say not all calories are created equally, really what you're doing is you're confusing people that don't know what you mean by that, and you're hoping that it's going to invite a conversation and you will be able to turn them into a client. However, the people that don't inquire and just read it at face value and aren't asking you questions to follow up on it, those are the people that you need to be worried about, because those people, you are misinforming them. But moving on, it's all about the words my audience relates to. Majority of my audience and followers are busy, driven female. So maybe that's why you don't relate. The person who had posted was a male, just for clarification. I hear from these women every single day about counting calories, so that's what I'm helping with this week. To which she ended up replying back, I get that, but your analogy is factually incorrect. You are confusing grams of macros against their energy values. Anyway, see ya. To which she replied, people are counting calories. Calories cannot all be counted equally. Okay, so far I agree with that. Calories should not be counted equally, but in terms of what they actually are, they are what they are. It's a unit of heat measurement. 1 calorie from sugar versus 1 calorie from protein, it is the same thing. It's going to have a different effect on your body, and you shouldn't think of 1 calorie from protein versus 1 calorie from sugar as the same, but it doesn't change the fact that 1 calorie of protein versus 1 calorie of sugar is the exact same thing in terms of its energy value. Anyway, moving back on. That is a fact. So it is factually correct. No, it is not factually correct, because your initial post was that not all calories are created equally, which they are, and then you went on to list the different macronutrients and the calories that came in them. So if you had just said, people are counting calories, calories cannot all be counted equally, that is a fact, wouldn't have had a problem with this post. No issue whatsoever. The fact that you said not all calories are created equally, and then you conflated macronutrients with calories, that is my problem with this post. But moving on, the person ended up replying with, I know that. I'm not sure why your post confuses the two regarding calories not being the same and trying to match it with macronutrient density. They are completely two different things. Smashing my head emoji. To which she replied, you're twisting things. No, actually, he's not twisting things. Your post literally said, not all calories are created equally. Then you list the macronutrients and you list the calorie content in each of them. That is what you said. If you had said not all calories are created equally and then said your later point about how they have different effects on your body, that would have been a problem. The problem is you saying that they're not created equally and then conflating macronutrients with calories. I think I first heard this analogy 10 to 15 years ago. Not sure, but I think it was Charles Poliquin, Dr. Mercola, or Paul Chek. Okay, I don't know about Dr. Mercola, but I know for a fact it was not Charles Poliquin or Paul Chek because I have taken tons of courses with them over the last decade, and I've never heard them say this. In fact, when it comes to Charles Poliquin and Paul Chek, I've heard them say how not all calories are created equally, but when they say that, they clarify how they have different effects on your hormones, how sugar is going to react differently in your body from protein. But at the end of the day, they agree that 1 calorie is equal to 1 calorie, and a calorie is a unit of heat measurement. They're not debating that. When they say not all calories are created equally, they are talking about the hormonal response from those different calories. So they never said not all calories are created equally and then compared them to their different macronutrients. So you are completely misquoting them when you say that. Moving on, let me repeat. This is for people who calorie count and for people who are counting all calories as equal. Keeping it nice and simple. Keeping it a great way to teach people facts about food and calorie counting. For the last time, not all calories are created equally. For the last time, yes, they are. All calories are created equally. However, not all sources of calories are created equally. That distinction is very, very important. And by not clarifying that point, you are causing your listeners to be very, very confused, and you are going to mislead them. Anyway, let's move on. Fact is, it is very simple. Foods fall into 3 categories: proteins, fats, carbohydrates. Okay, perfect. So far, no problem with this post. All food has energy value, calories. Okay, don't really have a problem with that. Not all calories have the same effect on the body. No issue with that statement whatsoever. And not all have the same effect on fat loss. Again, 100% agree with that so far. So far, this post is great. Example, calories from donuts have a different effect than calories from fish. Yes, I agree with that too. If this was your initial post, then I would not have a problem with your post whatsoever. Now, this is actually good information. This should have been your main post. You should have just left it at that. But one of the problems that I find on Facebook is when stupid people get called out on their stupidity, they tend to double down. So what did this girl did? She doubled down. And let's see what she posted just after she made this post. More facts on calories and fats. Approximately, a teaspoon of salmon equals 14 calories. A teaspoon of white sugar equals 23 calories. Okay, now you're not even talking about calories really. Now you are equating amounts of different foods. You are saying a teaspoon of salmon versus a teaspoon of white sugar. Let's go on. Not a lot in it. Can you count the calories and the effect the same? Answer, no. Okay, I agree, but the reason that you can't count the calories the same is because a teaspoon of salmon has 14 calories and a teaspoon of white sugar has 23 calories. So you can't count the calories the same because the calories aren't the same. 14 is not equal to 23. There's your math lesson for today. Anyway, the next point that she made, this is a separate post again. Confused over calorie counting and weight loss advice? Here's some more fun facts to help you out. 100 grams of salmon equals 200 calories, 0 sugar. 100 grams of white sugar equals 470 calories, 0 fat. Again, you are comparing 100 grams of one thing to 100 grams of another, but you are not equating the calories in those different food products. So this is really a moot point. And she goes on with 1 million calories from fish versus 1 million grams of white sugar. I'm assuming she means 1 million calories from white sugar. Totally different effect on the body, 100% agree. You cannot count all calories as equal. I agree with that. However, first you are comparing 100 grams of salmon to 100 grams of white sugar, which the calorie content is not the same. So you can't compare 280 calories to 470 if you are saying that not all calories are equal. Second of all, in the first part, you're comparing grams of food, and then in the second one, you are equating calories. So you keep conflating macronutrients with calories, and the two are completely different. If you're going to say not all calories are created equally, then you need to equate calories when you are comparing these different foods. It makes absolutely zero sense what you are saying, and you are just causing further confusion. I'm going to say it one more time for those of you in the back so you guys can hear it too. All calories are created equally. However, not all sources of calories are created equally. They will have different effects on your body. If you are consuming 100 calories from sugar versus 100 calories from steak, those 100 calories at the end of the day are the same. However, the effect that they are going to have on your body is going to be completely different. So even though all calories are created equally, the sources of those calories are not equal. And that is the takeaway from this video. But that's pretty much it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to make more of these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.